Well, we got a special treat for you this morning, a highly anticipated interview between Stephen Colbert and Justin Trudeau. What a weird mix match. But the reason why Justin Trudeau is showing up on the late night Colbert show is because he is at a UN assembly in New York, making an absolute fool of himself. I mean, day one, he gave a speech and you saw there was 3 people in the stands. I mean, not necessarily 3, but a lot of seats were empty, and it's almost as if he wasn't really talking to a crowd of people, but rather the cameras, which is very, very bizarre. Why even have people in the seats? It doesn't make any sense, and I think he's like the worst leader in terms of how many people showed up. But nonetheless, we got a couple things lined up before the Colbert report. So if that's what you're tuning in to see, then just skip ahead a few minutes. I'm sure somebody somewhere will put the timestamps down below in the description or in the comment section. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. And for those that missed yesterday's update in the polls, I've got it for you right now. So you've got Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives at 220 projected seats without, get this, without going on any late night shows. It's almost like he doesn't have to pander to the rest of the world in order to gain popularity here in Canada. He's doing quite fine. Pierre Poilievre, that is doing quite fine as it stands. And then you have Justin Trudeau and the Liberals at 64 projected seats. He just keeps going down and down and down. Then you got the Bloc at 42 and the NDP at 15 projected seats. Not looking good for everyone other than Pierre Poilievre. And speaking of not looking good, you got Melanie Joly, aka Trudeau's mistress or something of the sorts, saying for Canadian citizens and permanent residents who are in Lebanon, return home immediately. For those who are planning on travel, now is not the time. The security situation along the Lebanon-Israel border is highly volatile and can escalate without warning at any time, especially when you have Benjamin Netanyahu, who has this to say about the matter.
I have a message for the people of Lebanon. Israel's war is not with you. It's with Hezbollah. For too long, Hezbollah has been using you as human shields. It placed rockets in your living rooms and missiles in your garage. Those rockets and missiles are aimed directly at our cities, directly at our citizens. To defend our people against Hezbollah strikes, we must take out those weapons. Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now. Once our operation is finished, you can come back safely to your homes.
And so the reason why, or at least the speculation behind this message, and a lot of other countries, including Russia, if I'm not mistaken, has issued warnings to the people of Lebanon that are from the respective countries saying, get out now. And that's because of the much anticipated, pretty much flattening of Lebanon that Israel is planning on doing. You've seen a massive escalation in the amount of warfare that Israel is just really raining down on other, areas in the Gaza Strip, on Hamas, on Lebanon. And I feel, along with many other professionals, also feel that it's time, like something insane is about to happen. We're all holding our breath that hopefully it's not nuclear, but you never know. If it were to be nuclear, it's probably going to be sometime now, more than ever. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And then you have anti-taxer on X saying Maple Kamala, which is what some people are trying to call Jagmeet. And I got to say, I'm on board with that. Maple Kamala is now projected to lose his seat. This is totally hilarious. What a failure. So Jagmeet Singh, who's been going around as the leader of the NDP, you may or may not, if you're, not a regular viewer of this channel, maybe the Stephen Colbert interview has piqued your interest and the algorithm has shot it out so that you are seeing that. Jagmeet Singh, this guy right here, also known as Sellout Singh, he's the leader of the NDP party, and they are absolutely in the shitters. They are going to lose most of their seats, including the leader's seat. And that's probably because he's a bully. He's been going around trying to fight people outside of Parliament and people inside of Parliament. It doesn't really make any sense, but I'd love to know what you guys have to say about that. And then speaking of not making sense, CTV made a retraction. They actually apologized for putting out something misleading. Altered footage. They clipped different pieces of what Pierre Poilievre said, and they manipulated the footage to make it seem like he was calling a vote of non-confidence against the dental plan in Canada, which is something that is not even remotely accurate. He's trying to call a vote of non-confidence for a freaking federal election. But, I mean, the damage has already been done. But they've apologized. They've actually apologized, which is kind of crazy, but here's the clip.
Last night in a report on this broadcast, we presented a comment by the official opposition leader Pierre Poilievre that was taken out of context. It left viewers with the impression the Conservative non-confidence motion was to defeat the Liberals' dental care program. In fact, the Conservatives have made it clear the motion is based on a long list of issues with the Liberal government, including the carbon tax. A misunderstanding during the editing process resulted in this misrepresentation. We unreservedly apologize to Mr. Poilievre and the Conservative Party of Canada. We regret this report went to air in the manner it did.
Yeah, I don't know if that was an accident. I feel like they're just kind of doing damage control now just to cover themselves legally. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below about that situation. And then you have this clip of Justin Trudeau that has just recently surfaced from an interview that he has just conducted, where he really sounds like he's just kind of off his rocker, either drunk or under some sort of influence of other substances. Let's take a look here.
Mr. Prime Minister, the final word, any ask or advice for everyone listening today?
Well, I think one of the things you started getting me thinking about science fiction, and I was thinking about Jurassic Park, the original book, where Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, talks about, in the movie, talks about the accelerated pace of learning and knowledge and science, and the fact that if you're a martial arts expert, you will spend decades perhaps getting to the point where you can, kill someone with your finger. And the idea is once you gain that particular power, you will have lived with it and grown into it so much that you'll never use it or never have to use it except in unimaginable circumstances because you have gained control over the power you have. And the story of Jurassic Park, or waking up dinosaurs again, or AI now, means that we are all busy stepping on each other as we're creating more and more tools that we haven't had time to sit back and reflect on what's going to be the consequence of this, or what's going to be the challenge of that, or what's going to be the benefit of this.
Okay. What? That is friggin' bizarre. And how I interpret this is pretty much, this is my imitation of Justin Trudeau. You ready? Just imagine, okay? Just imagine that instead of milk coming from cows, they came from like sheep and chickens and, just trees. Like that would be insane. Speaking of sci-fi fiction, what the hell is wrong with Justin Trudeau? He doesn't make any sense. Literally doesn't make any sense at all. I'm sure if I sat down and tried to come up with a better analogy, maybe perhaps I could have come up with a better reference, but it was supposed to not make sense. And that's kind of the state of Justin Trudeau, which is what we're going to be talking about right now with this Stephen Colbert interview. So brace yourself. I'm sure a lot of people clicked on this video for this specific reason. So here we go.
Lovely to meet you. Never had an opportunity, never had the honor of meeting you before. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you're in town for the UN General Assembly.
Yes.
Thanks for making the time.
Oh, glad to be here. Glad to be
Now, do you guys get to show up in Canada?
here. Yes, we do.
Okay, good. Just
Yes,
want to
we
make
do.
sure you
Yes,
know.
that
We do
might
here.
be part of why I'm here.
Exactly.
It's a Canadians watch as well,
So-
Again, Justin Trudeau is the only world leader that I have ever seen, or anyone else has ever seen, who sits like this very kind of feminine stance. It's really, really bizarre. You have an opportunity to kind of break the shackles of your brand, how people have portrayed you, and this is how you choose to. He's doubling down. He's doubling down on the theater boy, right? This very progressive feminist kind of person, which is not relatable, but somehow he thinks it is.
First question is, I like to, cross my T's, dot my I's. What do I call you? What do people call the Prime Minister?
I'm calling you Stephen, so you can call me Justin, I guess.
I don't think so. Mr. Prime Minister, is that basically it? That's the formal way of doing it?
Prime Minister, yeah.
Prime Minister,
Yeah.
Prime Minister. Prime Minister.
Well, no, because Mr. is an American thing, Mr. President, right? But
Yes.
Prime Minister is apparently like doctor, so you don't actually have to say Mr. Prime Minister.
So you wouldn't say Mr. Doctor.
Okay, this is bizarre. You can tell by his face that he's getting a kick out of this. Like, he's enjoying this. Bro, you were running a country. Why are you... It's like being an NHL player and just showing up to shinny hockey. Like, why? You have no business being on a late night show in America. It doesn't make any sense. Do your freaking job. I understand that they have downtime, right? Politicians, prime ministers, presidents, but it's just weird. It's an American TV show. You're a Canadian prime minister, and maybe I'm just really not triggered, but kind of by the laugh track. But that on its own is just, this is why I stopped watching TV. This is why pretty much everything I consume is on YouTube or like a streaming platform, but certainly not on TV.
Let's get into the heat of the meat here. I hear really good things about Canada. Sell me.
Canada's the best country in the world.
Okay, first of all, I gotta stop it, and I'm sorry if it's pissing everybody off, but that's just how this works on YouTube. You're the leader of a country. You are the CEO of the Canadian corporation, and you're on an American TV show, a late night TV show, which, yes, there is maybe quite a few of them. I'm not really versed in how many late night shows there are. I imagine that Stephen Colbert is still like a pretty popular person, but maybe not like Joe Rogan type of popular, but nonetheless, still hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people are going to see this. And your answer to sell me on Canada is taking a deep pause, as if you were dreading the question. Like, that is a tough pill to swallow. And this is why Canadians have lost tremendous amount of faith in Justin Trudeau. The policies absolutely are horrible, and they're detrimental to our economy. They're detrimental. They're adding so much division to our country, right? It's dumb what he's done to this country. But you're also in a position to brag about Canada, and it should be an immediate thing that you do. And it tells me that Justin Trudeau doesn't even like Canada anymore. He's just running this for maybe a desensitized relationship. Like, maybe he is planning on moving somewhere else out of Canada once he's, eventually kicked out and Pierre Poilievre is prime minister. But that's such a weird response, man.
Actually, we go coast to coast to coast. We have the Arctic
Oh, you have the
Ocean
Arctic.
as well.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going toe-to-toe with the Ruskies over all the resources up there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge there. But the thing is that everyone focuses on the land, but really Canada's about the people. It's a range of people from every possible background who come together.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to all of you supporters. Shout out to all of you people out there that are watching this from wherever you are, from all different walks of life. People that love Canada, that want Canada to go back to where it was pre-Justin Trudeau, pre-sabotage. To all the people out there that love freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. To all the people that realize what Justin Trudeau and his freaking minions, his liberal saboteur little army that he's put together, the shitstorm that they've brought. I started not to sound too much like Trailer Park Boys, but the shit winds are coming, Randy. He has absolutely destroyed Canada, and all that's left. Yes, the land is beautiful. It's also extremely freaking expensive to go see the different land, to travel, to move around. Like, everyone in Canada is under the mutual understanding that this place really sucks right now if it wasn't for the people. And we've got one last opportunity to really fight well for democracy, because here in Canada, there are no term limits. Theoretically, Justin Trudeau could be Prime Minister, Mr. Sir Prime Minister, whatever the hell he tried to get Colbert to say that his title was. He could theoretically be Prime Minister of Canada until he dies, until whether that's 20 years, 30 years, I don't know, I forget how old he is, 50 years from now. He could be Prime Minister for a very, very long time. And some people would argue there's pros to that, because if you have a good leader in there like Pierre Poilievre, or maybe somebody else in the future, can run the country smoothly for, a lot of time. But in this case, we've been stuck for Justin Trudeau for 9 years. It seems like we're going to be going one more year for a full 10 years, and people are absolutely fed up with the current state of Canada. So all that's left at the end of the day are the beautiful people that make up this country. So shout out to all of you. I know times are tough right now in Canada. I know this dickwad right here, right, toting around in New York City, right, where he belongs, right, singing and dancing in the streets full of piss and crap. That's exactly where he belongs and where he wants to be, putting on this little fake theatrical performance with Stephen Colbert. Shout out to all the other people that realize that Canada is a beautiful country for the land and the people, and that do not want to jump ship. I get a lot of people I get a lot of people are wanting to, but shout out to those that don't want to leave this country because of the people and the land.
A little different from the melting pot in the United States where everyone gets to be American.
Yes.
We try to celebrate differences, and people keep their cultures and keep their languages. And like when the Polish Prime Minister came to visit, he was super amazed and pleased that so many of the members of the Polish community continued to speak Polish, even though they've been here for generations.
Yes, this is also something that historically Canada celebrates. Right now, it's a very touchy subject, multiculturalism, absolutely, because it's been used and abused. It's not that Canada doesn't like immigration or immigrants or other cultures. Sure, there are some people that do not like that. You'll find the same type of people around the world. Historically, Canada has been a wonderfully multicultural country. Right now, the system is 100% broken, where even Dickwad here can admit that. That's why he's cutting back on immigration, because there's a massive flaw. But yes, that is one of the beautiful parts that Canada has to offer to its resume, right? Should there ever be one, especially in like Toronto and other places, probably in Montreal, Vancouver, you can find little pockets of, Chinatown, little Poland, little Italy, all of those things. And those are awesome little things. But right now, this moment in time, it's such a touchy subject. And a lot of people out there still appreciate all the multiculturalism. A lot of people are saying, all right, let's cut immigration. And hey, whoa, before anyone says that's racist, Justin Trudeau himself and his liberal immigration minister has also said that they need to cut back on immigration. So you can finally now say that we need to stop immigration without anyone being able to say you're a racist, because the man, the myth, the dickwad himself, Justin Trudeau, has officially said it.
Whereas, everyone sort of becomes American more. And the differences, not just regional, because you guys have those as well, but differences in stories, differences in perspectives. Every day you meet a Canadian, you get to hear a different approach to life, a different take on the values we have, on the things that we love. It's an amazing country, and I really encourage you to come up and see more than just for the maple syrup and mountains.
Right. So even though it's hard times right now, shout out to all the people out there that are sticking it through, that have been peacefully protesting for the past couple of years, that have been questioning the government. Shout out to all the people there that have, the glass has now been shattered of what was deemed as supposed to be an institution of government, of policies that we, the people of Canada, could rely on to make our lives simpler and better. Shout out to all the people that are now realizing that glass has been broken, that, hey, we have to rely less on government and more of other people. It's not talking necessarily about tribing together, but it's more talking about, resources with other people in your community. Hey, my friend down the road, he's got some chickens. I have a farm here. Maybe we can swap. Or hey, you don't like Justin Trudeau. I don't like Justin Trudeau either. Nice to meet you. Hey, how can we solve our government? This division that Justin Trudeau has tried to cause, which he to an extent has successfully executed, it's now backfired on him, because instead of ratting on your neighbor for X, Y, and Z, which is exactly what this dickwad has wanted people to do, he's wanted people to not get along because, oh, you're not getting the medical procedure that the government wants you to get. I can't say it, but you know what I'm talking about. It rhymes with flu shot, but not really. You're not getting that? I don't like you. The government says stay away from you. The man himself, the Mr. Government Prime Minister, says to stay away from you. Shout out to all the people that have said, screw that rhetoric. I am going to stick to what I believe in, and I will go and find other like-minded people, even though we've been labeled a small fringe minority. And it turns out that we're not, just as I showed at the start of this video with the polls. Shout out to all of you, man. Justin Trudeau has tried to create a massive amount of division, and he successfully has, but now it's backfiring because it will never, ever, ever allow him to be reelected again. People are so fed up with this. You have diehard liberals, people that have historically for generations have voted or at least been liberals, and that is no longer the case. Hell, I was even raised in a liberal household. A lot of people were. Canada historically is extremely progressive compared to, say, the United States. And we've just been a more left-leaning, progressive-ish type of country. And now you have a lot of people that are going, I am not voting for Justin Trudeau. So good job, Trudeau. You have brought people together, even though you've tried to tear them apart. This next question is extremely difficult to get through. Stephen Colbert tries to bash anybody in Canada who does not agree with Justin Trudeau or the woke radical left. If you're a conservative, if you have right of center, even maybe left of center, or just centrist views, you are a conspiracy theorist. You're a radical right-wing bad person. I do not like this rhetoric. This is very dangerous rhetoric. Look at what's happened with Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, former and future. They've tried to assassinate him, and Stephen Colbert is adding more fuel to the fire by bashing the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre. I can't freaking believe that this is actually happening, but here we go.
The Conservative Party leader, your opponent there, has been called Canada's Trump, and I'm sorry about that. I'm curious why at least some form of nativism or far-right xenophobia might grow in a country even as polite as Canada.
There's a big argument right now about whether dental care even exists. We've delivered it to 700,000 people across the country, and my opponent is gaslighting us and saying, oh, dental care doesn't even exist yet.
That's so dangerous for him to say on a American late night show that his opponent, Pierre Poilievre, is gaslighting him. And I don't believe that that's factually correct at all. And I'm sure we're going to hear about it later on today in the House of Commons by Pierre Poilievre himself, or maybe the following day. But nonetheless, these social programs that Justin Trudeau brags about, they've cost us taxpayers here in Canada billions with a B. For example, childcare costs $3 or $4 billion for $10 a day childcare, and it doesn't even work. It's not every childcare facility. There's a lot of caveats in that social program, and then there's massive waiting lists, such as my kids, right? I have a daughter that's under 2 years old. Absolutely, I would directly benefit from $10 a day childcare, which Justin Trudeau goes around the world bragging about. I would have had to put myself, my future kids, on a list 3 years before they were born in order for them to get accepted into childcare and them to be the right age. Whether it's a daughter, whether it's a son, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not using they as a pronoun. I'm just using they as a general. You got to clarify these days. It's just a general, like either one of my kids, because I do have a boy or girl. It's absolutely absurd that he brags about these social programs when they don't even work. They work for some, sure, but is $5 billion worth the for some, or is empowering those for some people and the rest of the entire country to have more money, less government, less taxes? Isn't that a better option? To me, absolutely it is.
How many times have you been elected as prime minister?
3 times in a row.
You lost some seats in parliament. Your party is 17 points behind in the polls. And this week, your rivals are calling a vote to possibly force you out of office. A snap election, I believe it's called. Is that true? I love that.
Yeah.
What would you imagine a reasonable argument for their complaints is?
Well, that it's a really tough time in Canada right now. People are hurting. People are having trouble paying for groceries, paying for rent.
Hey, I hate to say it for any Americans out there, but it's worse. It's worse than America. Whatever you're going through in America, just picture it being worse, and that's what it's like here in Canada. I freaking hate to say it because I don't want to piss any Americans off, but it's bad. Like how much money we get paid versus how much housing costs and our groceries. Like, it don't make any sense. You can buy a pack of smokes in America for like $3.50. That same pack of smokes in Canada is over $20. It's not even close. I'm sorry, Americans, but it's not even close.
Lost a little ground over the past decades on building housing, so the housing crisis is a little sharper. Our economic outlook is slightly more positive than the United States right now on a macro level, but people don't feel it when they're buying for groceries. So there's a lot of frustration. Let's invest more in people. Let's move forward on $10 a day childcare right across the country. Let's move forward on dental care. Let's move forward on pharma, so people can actually get a relief and have more money to pay for groceries or what have you.
This is one of the most controversial topics here in Canada. Social programs ain't that bad of an idea. Hold on. If an economy is thriving, our economy is not thriving. People need access to more of their money. Canada, being one of the highest taxed countries in the entire world, we're taxed when we make money, we're taxed when we spend money, we're taxed when we invest our money. We're taxed from so many different ways at such extreme levels because Justin Trudeau has all these goals and ambitions that the majority of Canadians are saying, no, stop it. Please stop it. We will vote our way out of this right now. If there's a vote of no confidence, stop. But he doesn't care. In fact, he's so delusional that he has even said he does not care about the polls. He doesn't look at the polls. He doesn't care about the polls. Yet everywhere he goes, he's heckled. For crying out loud, chances are, even outside of the studio at Stephen Colbert late night show, he probably was met with hecklers since it was public that he's going to appear on, last night or this morning, whenever it actually happened, right? So it's just super, super bizarre that Trudeau is saying, okay, you know what, Canada, I understand you guys want more money. Instead of me giving you access to more of your money, I'm going to invest this money. Now, you could very well invest this money in yourselves, but I'm going to do a better job, and I know how you want this money invested. At least I'm volunteering you, and that's the state of Canada. So he is investing our money for us against our consent. Like, I thought Trudeau was all about consent. I thought he was super progressive. I do not consent. I do not consent to my taxes going towards wasteful spending. But again, this is turning less and less of a democracy and more of a Trudeau gets to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And then after he said that little spiel, he actually continued it and admitted that Canadians are frustrated and that Canadians want an election, which is why there's a vote of non-confidence happening in Parliament later today, which is the first thing I've heard in this entire spiel where I actually agree with Trudeau that Canadians are fed up and that we want an election. Here's the clip.
People are frustrated, and the idea that that maybe they want an election now is something that my opponents are trying to bank on, because people are taking a lot out on me for understandable reasons. I've been here and I've been steering us through all these things, and people are sometimes looking at change. I deeply believe in continuing to fight climate change, and I'm going to keep fighting it.
There could be a time in history where those things that he just said would make sense. Increasing social programs, trying to push an entire country through a proper way of saying, hey, man, look, we understand you like gas and diesel, fossil fuels, but maybe try electric, right? Why not? Give it a shot. There could be very well a time in history where that makes sense. But there's also a time in history where it's so unaffordable that knowing that my taxes that are extremely high, your taxes that are extremely high, are going towards social programs that I don't necessarily benefit from, you don't necessarily benefit from. Those that do benefit from, it's failing across the board. So we're spending billions of dollars on programs that don't really work how they are intended to. And then the fight for climate change, again, maybe there's a time in history where that could actually, sway public opinion. But right now, no. People are hurting. People are drowning. And I'm going to go out and say, I am extremely shocked that Justin Trudeau admitted that. He said that he's running the show. And he understands that people are mad at him, rightfully so. He knows that he's making life more difficult. He knows that he's not making it easier for anybody, yet he's still doing it. Why? Even somebody out there who makes electric vehicles, who's actually the leader in electric vehicles, Elon Musk. And Elon Musk himself has said that he does not see the benefit to everybody all of a sudden turning to electric and getting off of fossil fuels. It would be absolutely insane. We don't have the grid, the infrastructure to accommodate that. So why is a prime minister who's not qualified in electricity, who's not qualified in electric vehicles, who's not qualified in this fighting climate change nonsense or rhetoric that they're trying to push, why is he pushing so hard for this cause? That's what everyone is wondering. Well, for starters, it makes him a lot of money. See, increased taxes means more government spending more money on contract work from companies A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Who works for companies A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Justin Trudeau's friends and family. So he gets the money, he sends the money out, the money goes out to friends and family and comes back to him. It's literally a scam. It's a scheme for Justin Trudeau and other liberals to make themselves richer. And you've just had, in the past 48 hours, other liberal MPs they've literally admitted that Canadians are not pissed off because of liberal policies. They're pissed off because of our discontent with our life, and we're taking all that anger and projecting it onto the liberals, onto Justin Trudeau. That doesn't make any sense. Our discontent with life is because of your policies. So these people are extremely, extremely delusional. But I'd love to know what you guys have to say about that down in the comments.
You're in town, as I said, for the UN General Assembly. What is Canada's role on the world stage?
We're a really connected country. We have people from every corner of the world, but we also engage actively in the world in a way that not everyone does. We do feel connected, so that things that happen on the other sides of the ocean, we do feel a responsibility and a desire to help out. And when Canadians show up, people are usually sure we're not there to, impose or conquer. We're really there to help.
This dude is nuts. He brags about things that he's working on across the world, yet you have drug crisis and homelessness that's running rampant through our streets. And if you're somebody who hasn't ever been to Canada, your first time viewer, maybe you're American or from another country, I implore you to go check out East Hastings down in Vancouver. Vancouver is a beautiful, what's supposed to be a beautiful Pacific coastal town or city, and it's just run rampant with homelessness. It looks like zombie land, and the person to blame is this guy right here. This guy right here, Justin Trudeau, has imposed insane radical policies to the point where the largest drug cartel in this entire country is the government. You can get free hard drugs from government facilities paid for by the government. It's absolutely free. It doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, so many people the overdoses are increasing through this program. I don't know if it's the sick, sadistic way that Justin Trudeau is trying to kill off hundreds of thousands of homeless people here in this country. But whatever he's doing, it's not benefiting us. It's hurting people. It's hurting families. It's tearing people apart, and it's creating more divisiveness. And then we have all of these issues, and Trudeau has the audacity, and there's a whole lot more issues other than just drug and, crime in specifically Vancouver. You got a whole, as he said, coast to coast to coast to worry about. But Canada's priorities are not fixing our own here, unfortunately. That's what I would like. That's what likely a lot of the viewers watching this channel would like. But Justin Trudeau has made it his mission to take other people's problems that they didn't even know were problems, that they were just habits. And then he just said that we don't go to conquer. We do. Canada spends over $20 million in the Congo to stop people from pooping on beaches. I wish I could make that up. I wish that was something that spawned out of my brain. Maybe I had a dream and wrote it down really quickly on my phone or a notepad. But no, that's a real government grant that is on the Canadian government website. Justin Trudeau's idea of Canada is the friend that puts on other people's oxygen masks first when the plane is going down without ever helping himself. Or in this case, it's not himself, it's this country. He is the worst manager that Canada has ever seen. That's why he's tanking so far in the polls. It's not some push of Russian propaganda that's helping the rhetoric go towards F. Trudeau. There doesn't need to be any Russian or other countries' propaganda to aid that rhetoric or attribute more fuel to the fire. Canadians are absolutely fed up with this, and we see right through this bullshit. It's absolutely insane that he brags about ruining our country by trying to help others.
This in a meeting that we'd gathered with
And
a
are
whole
your
bunch
cats
of different
okay?
leaders.
Your cats and your dogs are fine.
I'm going to move right past that one. I had
That is obviously a reference to Trump's comment on the live debate with Kamala Harris, where he said, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. And then a lot of people, including myself, thought it was absolutely crazy. But since then, it's been proven. You have footage on X. Thankfully, Elon Musk has purchased X so that we can see videos without them being suppressed on other mainstream media platforms. But nonetheless, you have actual footage of people, Haitian immigrants or whatever, in Springfield, down in America, eating pets. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a real thing, man. I've seen the footage with my own eyes. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think down below. That's kind of crazy that they brought that up.
If you don't believe that you can actually work with others and make a positive difference, then you're not on the right line of work. I mean, people elect us, send us into office for the time we're in to try and have the best impact on how the world is unfolding for them. And if you're not convinced that you can make a positive difference, then you're not on the right line of work.
And what happens in the event where an entire country that, against their will, is stuck with you when they show with undeniable evidence that if there was an election today or yesterday or even tomorrow, that you would not be voted back in? In fact, Justin Trudeau wouldn't even win his own seat. Justin Trudeau has no business in politics. Maybe at one point there was the potential for greatness with this guy, but nobody has seen it. The only real big impact he's had on this country is legalizing Mary Jane. That's about it. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you're wondering how serious this interview was with Stephen Colbert, I'll leave you with this. After Justin Trudeau did his little piece with Stephen Colbert, RuPaul, the drag queen, showed up for their interview with Stephen Colbert. So that's the extent of the seriousness of these types of late night show interviews. They are soft questions made to prop up Justin Trudeau, to give him more popularity, more clicks and views by an American audience, to then hopefully give him more traction here in Canada. And you can tell that Justin Trudeau loved every single minute of it. His demeanor is very, very attentive towards Stephen Colbert. He's smiling. He's happy. He's in his element. This is where Justin Trudeau belongs, in theater, right? That's where he belongs. Not as a politician, not running our country. He's a failed drama teacher, for crying out loud. And when he was asked, what's good about Canada? He took a massive pause. Bro, you're running the show. Ask any CEO of any company or any respected world leader what is so great about their country, and you will see their face light up, and they will be talking and talking and talking. And Justin Trudeau is just going through his script. It's hard to watch. I'm sorry that I put you all through that, but I hope you had a takeaway. And maybe that takeaway from this is there's no hope for Justin Trudeau. He's never going to change. This is exactly how he's going to be. And that's why when he made his first speech at the UN, there was nobody in the stands. Thank you so much for watching this video. On your way out, if you haven't yet already, I'd really appreciate it if you guys click and tap the like button and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel above and beyond any of those things, there is a membership link down below in the description, but also there's a join button to join the channel members. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.